Across the 7 sins, none quite stand out like envy. The desire for more created by pure jealousy. It especially festers when said jealousy is spawned from losing to someone. Also, they're hated by their fan bases for being poorly written. Anyway, Infinite, the ultimate masked mercenary, and Gas, the strongest warrior in the universe. I am No Name, and I am here to analyze their powers, techniques, and experience to figure out who wins. Across this wondrous land, while there's whimsy and adventure everywhere you see, there are those who stain the world. A band of mercenaries who would raid people for profit, the Jackal Squad, led by the person proclaimed as the ultimate mercenary, Infinite. However, everything changed the day he decided to attempt to raid the base of Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik. Unbeknownst to him, Eggman had a nifty new toy, the Phantom Ruby. Upon accidentally striking it, Infinite saw a reality he desired most: pure destruction. Eggman, ever the manipulator, also saw the vision and promised Infinite his desired reality, Kamen Rider Geet style. Despite his allies' protests, Infinite agreed to join forces with Eggman, becoming the new leader of Eggman's army. Infinite and his squad went on to protect one of Eggman's bases until Shadow the Hedgehog showed up. This absolute badass raided the base that the raiders were defending and whooped their asses. Even after attempting a surprise attack, Infinite was utterly embarrassed and overwhelmed. After Shadow finished his raid and berated Infinite, he fully melted down, uttering non-stop that he wasn't weak. From that day forward, a seething hatred of Shadow the Hedgehog was engraved into Infinite. His basic martial arts skills and sword weren't enough, so he needed to prove that he wasn't weak. So embarrassed himself that he made a mask to hide his face and had Eggman put the Phantom Ruby that started this mess in the first place infused with himself. The Phantom Ruby was powerful before, but in Infinite's hands, it's far more potent than the sum of its parts. The Phantom Ruby creates illusions by manipulating perception to the point where it warps reality to fit the user's whim. In Infinite's hands, the Ruby allows him to fly, teleport, grow in size, shoot lasers, use telekinesis, manipulate gravity, and more. But he usually just chucks cubes at people in predictable patterns. These powers made him plenty powerful on his own, but in order to defeat the Blue Blur and Eggman's arch-rival Sonic the Hedgehog, he'd need more than power. While various guidebooks say that he's Sonic's most powerful villain yet, it's pretty clear that statement doesn't hold a lot of water, especially since the powers that he uses against Sonic in order to defeat him were kinda cheating. Since the Phantom Ruby manipulates perception and can clone Infinite, he used these to create clones of Sonic's previous rivals and basically one-man jumped him. This showed two things. One, Sonic was defeated so the world was ripe for Eggman's taking, and two, that Infinite's solution to being shown that he wasn't weak wasn't self-improvement, but to instead take shortcuts and cheat abilities. This ended up leaving Infinite unsatisfied even though the world he and Eggman sought to came to light was empty. He had the power to create entirely infinite-sized pocket dimensions and was able to genuinely keep up with Sonic at speed, so why was he empty? He wasn't weak because he used tricky abilities, wasn't he? I mean, base Sonic could run so fast that he restored time itself and could keep up with the Razor Jin, who could completely destroy space-time. So surely Infinite wasn't weak. Surely just because he was willing to trap people in pocket dimensions didn't mean he could throw hands himself, right? Well, either way, Eggman's rule wouldn't last forever. A rebellion to Eggman's rule was formed, and after some help from a newfound rookie, they were able to push Eggman back, and when Sonic broke out, him and a rookie had defeated Infinite a multitude of times. Sonic didn't even need one of his super forms to defeat him, even though when Eggman used it, he could create the Lightman form to battle Super Sonic. This all culminated in a large-scale war, the resistance against the Eggman Empire. With Infinite creating a whole army of clones to fight against Sonic's forces, he was actually winning, until Omega shot Infinite down, giving the resistance an opening. So, Infinite, in one final attempt to prove that he wasn't weak, summoned a fake sun and was more than willing to blow up the entire planet. Boom! The end. Infinite was done. His trump card was played, it was only him and the world, so who was going to save them now? At that point, everyone knew Infinite's name. He wasn't weak, but still weaker. The rookie was able to disable the Phantom Ruby, leaving Infinite vulnerable. He quickly fled to recharge his Phantom Ruby, But Sonic caught up, and one final clash, Infinite lost. Unable to accept his loss yet again, Sonic revealed that he won because he had heart, soul, and friendship. Infinite had no one. His copies were just that. Copies he never knew anyone and abandoned those closest to him just for a dream that was now dying. Not even Eggman cared for him. He was a means to an end, and that end came. He was pulled into a reactor to be used as a power source, being completely consumed by the Phantom Ruby. Defeat after defeat, his body was at its limit, and when Eggman was defeated, the day was saved. Infinite might have vanished, but his legacy will never be forgotten. He felt weak despite his immense strength and will forevermore be remembered. Perhaps that's what it takes to be infinite.
Take the power to make all yield to my will. I was reborn.
Is where we all thought it would end. That was basically the ending of the script for a while, but in the Chaotix files, despite being presumed dead, he actually survived, stole some stuff, and met a benefactor that hooked him up with an astroscopic lens, allowing him to get a revenge on Eggman. On a quest to regain his power, all that stand in his way are mere bugs ready to be crushed underfoot.
More ants to crush. I wonder if this world can offer me a real challenge. Huh? And as if to answer, the world sends me a trembling child. I'm going to fight and die here, or run away in fear again.
Across all universes, none stand out like Universe 7, and the race that shook the very universe to its core, the Saiyans, and among them, one would live in infamy, Bardock, a prideful Saiyan that while more average than not, he had a fiery spirit unlike most. Little did he know, his spirit would inspire a warrior like no other, the greatest warrior in the universe, Gas. But Gas wasn't there quite yet. Gas was a heater, a powerful alien, and he and his siblings were going to wipe out all of the surviving Saiyans that the tyrannical Frieza had purged. There, he and Bardock fought. And while Gas was protecting his family, he saw something in Bardock. Despite using his strongest form, Gas had lost and needed to be saved by his brother, Alec. This loss not only sparked a passion within Gas, but would also terrify him, which would seep in about 40 years later. When he and his family were looking for the Cerulean Dragon Balls, his brother Oil found him, and that was when Gas was wished into being the strongest warrior in the universe. Not that Gas was particularly lacking in strength, he started out as the weakest of the heaters, but that didn't last very long, and now as the strongest of the universe, no one stands a chance. Just by being a heater, Gas can breathe in space, but most importantly, heaters can access a rage boost by removing mental inhibitors. These people needed to do a self-lobotomization just to keep themselves from going berserk all the time, and also turning into old zombie people? Ugh. Also, Gas is a character from Dragon Ball, so you'll never expect what natural life force he can manipulate in order to create barriers, fly, shoot lasers, and move faster than light. Okay, to be fair, he usually uses Ki for more defensive measures and to fly because in a fight he's all about that magic shit. Hell yeah, blue alien sorcerer guy with dreads. Specifically, Gas is talented at creating matter from nothing. Everything from shields, to swords, maces, spears, giant spiked rocks, and so on and so forth. Additionally, he can telekinetically manipulate them at his will and even detonate them at will. But this is just him before even becoming the strongest. Afterwards, his telekinesis grew, allowing him to manipulate gravity itself. His status as the strongest made him so powerful, space-time itself was distorting. His power level was higher than those who could break out of pocket dimensions like it's nothing. He was creating tornadoes, blasting away his rival Granola, the bounty hunter, like it was nothing, regenerating his body, teleporting, and even performing Hawkeye, a powerful technique that erases space from existence. And with this, he knocked Granola out instantly. His siblings then presented him to the greatest fighters of the universe, two Saiyans. While the race was seemingly wiped out by Lord Frieza, he missed a spot or two, or four. Okay, he missed a lot of spots honestly, but these two were two of the greatest greatest warriors in the universe, Prince Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, and Son Goku, aka Kakarot, Bardock's son. And Gas's fight between the two was immensely disappointing. In Gas's eyes, Goku lacked the passion that Bardock had. That fiery spirit that had defeated him before is now gone. I'm surprised he feels this way since Goku once fought the god of destruction Beerus, and their clash nearly destroyed all of Universe 7, which is over 1,500 times bigger than our own universe. And since Goku is always training and getting stronger, so not only is it impressive, but Vegeta is just as powerful. The previous threats that the two Saiyans had to deal with were nothing like Gas. Cell could destroy solar systems, Frieza could light up galaxies, Metacooler could interrupt the incalculably fast instant transmission, and Hit could react inside of dimensions where time doesn't exist. And Gas was so much stronger than all of them. But Granola was there to prove the faults of Gas. Long ago, the Heaters wiped out all the Cerealians except for one to Gas's dismay. Granola was hired as a bounty hunter, but when he got the power to fight back, Gas, to put it lightly, beat his ass. But Granola proved that Gas wasn't perfect. His usage of instant transmission was sloppy, so Granola and the Saiyans had exploited it. But Gas is a fast learner and adapted quickly. But it wasn't enough. Granola once more exploited Gas's weakness and blasted Gas far away. While he had seemingly beaten the Heater, Elec was there to bail Gas out again, taking off his inhibitor and putting Gas into a blind fury. He destroyed Granola, and despite his siblings' protest and trying to bring him back to his senses, all he could think about was killing Saiyans. But Elec was able to snap him out of it, causing him to enter his awakened state and decimate Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta. And when Granola hit him with an attack that should have killed him, he just kept going. The trauma Bardock gave Gas was so great that all he wanted to do was kill those damn monkeys. He may have become the strongest in the universe, but there was only one monkey hater in Dragon Ball greater than him. Yep, Frieza with the N-word pass showed up and one-shot Gas. He was dying despite everything, despite being the strongest, and here he was dying at the hands of a man whose potential power eclipsed even from a wish from Shenron. Not that he would have beaten Goku and Vegeta anyway, despite claiming that they lacked the fire Bardock had, as Saiyan's pride and power grows when pushed past their limits. The Heaters purposefully restrain themselves because they can't handle their own power. Gas was the only one to come close to the fire that exists within a Saiyan. He came so close, but he was nothing more than a prop to his siblings, and there he died without ever fulfilling his life goal.
You intend to face me together? Saiyans are as mindless as ever, I see. You still fail to comprehend that such strategy will not matter given the gulf between us.
Step right up, get your parlays in, because it is time to figure out who would win.
You seem to have caused quite the calamity on this planet, Jackal. Perhaps you'll be worthy of testing my power against...
I assure you, I'm more than worthy, alien. My power is beyond you, lower life form.
You're the real lower life form. It was...
An illusion, just like your ego. Let's see how fragile it is.
Come on now. My siblings may be the strongest in the universe, so show me what you're made of.
I seek power for my sake alone. That's the difference between you and me. So who will save you now, weakling?
I'm not weak. As if I'd lose to pathetic foes like these. But him. No. This is a foolish mimicry. He lacks that fire in his eyes.
How pathetic. Destroy them all you like. 100 more will show up in their place.
I'll end the fight here.
Oh, now I'll show you!
I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't, but I don't see another way.
Why won't you die?
You're dead meat, Jackal.
No!
Are you crazy? You'll take yourself out with that too!
I don't care anymore! I'll take you and this wretched world out with me! You're dead!
You have the same fire as him. It reminds me of that day.
Die!
Hakai.
How?
You were reliant on that ruby. Now since you're so obsessed with imitation, why don't I introduce you to the real deal?
No! No! No!
You should die proud. You are a worthy tester for my power.
I can see the future. I'm not naming names, but a lot of people are gonna get really pissy about this conclusion. Alright, let's break it down, starting with speed. Both come from franchises known for their immense speed feats, several feats getting massively faster than light. With finite ends, gas would be much faster. It's unlikely that Infinite scales to Supersonic since he's only ever fought against Base Sonic, and there isn't much reason to believe that Base Sonic got stronger than Supersonic in the time frame from Sonic 06 to Forces. However, both series have a few speeds impossible to calculate. Infinite scales to a less dubious example, but scaling gas to hit and Metacooler evened out the score. Speed may be roughly even, but strength certainly wasn't. As we've said, there was little reason to scale Infinite to Supersonic in his crazy powerful feats of strength, but Eraser Jijin is more than reasonable. Sonic beat him in base form, Infinite beat Sonic in base form, and was able to match him in the run back. So how powerful is Eraser? Eraser was capable of completely destroying and recreating an entire infinitely sized pocket dimension, and was likely going to do the same to Sonic's wider multiverse. Given how much stronger Infinite likely is by comparison to Eraser, he'd be able to destroy the universe 1001 times over at least. That's really impressive, but Goku and Pierce's Punch Clash threatened to destroy all of Universe 7. And that was just the shockwaves. Most of the impact from the punch itself was absorbed by each other. A little more effort than the entire universe would have been gone, and Universe 7 is at least 1,500 times larger than our own. That alone would be more than enough to give Gas the strength edge. But Gas beat Goku and Vegeta in their strongest forms, and Goku had trained hard enough his base form was as powerful as the Punch class. So not only did Gas match and surpass a Goku that was hundreds of thousands of times stronger than the Clash at the time, while Eggman could match Supersonic with his Lightman form that spawned from the Phantom Ruby, it was complicated to manifest, and there's no reason to believe that Infinite could recreate it. Meanwhile, Gas was also matching Goku while two other people just as powerful were jumping in. Even if you give Infinite ridiculous multipliers from upscaling Eraser, it wouldn't be enough to stop Gas from getting the edge in strength. But Infinite isn't one of Sonic's deadliest villains because he's the strongest, so his powers are very important to look at. Infinite had a lot more toys to play with than Gas. Nearly everything Gas had, Infinite also had. However, Gas was far more creative with his matter creation than Infinite with his illusions. He also countered a good portion of Infinite's abilities, such as escaping being stuck in a pocket dimension, or countering Infinite's gravity manipulation with his own. Infinite also did not have a solid counter to Hakai. Even if he himself would likely be unaffected, the Phantom Ruby was vulnerable, and without it, Infinite is a sitting duck. But it's not like Infinite has nothing going on for him. He's a lot more versatile, as I've said, but he had one thing Gas had no counter to, his clones. While their power is inconsistent, and some were more or less useless, like the giant sun that Gas could easily blow up, they all could easily overwhelm Gas, and they'd be immune to all of Gas's more tricky abilities. They'd lack solid matter, so Hakai was more or less useless against them. And Infinite can summon a whole army, so he had hundreds of meat shields to protect himself from Gas. With all of this, he could wear down Gas's ki, which is a finite resource. Gas can run out of it, even if it took a while. Power's still tight, since Gas was more than capable of dealing with Infinite's more tricky abilities. Once he gets in close, it's over. But in order for either to achieve their win conditions, we must look at their resilience. Both Infinite and Gas were extremely determined to get their revenge. They don't back down, ever. But Infinite is far more, for lack of a better term, cheap when it comes to fights. He's more than willing to fight dirty and rarely puts himself into the fray himself. While Gas is just as cocky, he is more of a direct fighter and has taken multiple fatal attacks that would have killed him if didn't have the resilience to survive long enough to power up. Both took near fatal attacks, but Infinite took a long time to recuperate and was presumed dead for a long time. Gas, meanwhile, after getting hit with a full force attack from Granola while fighting Goku and Vegeta at the same time, took the hit, regenerated, and was ready to throw hands before Black Frieza killed him for good. While Gas has never fought against a full-on army before, he was so much stronger than Infinite in his army that it wouldn't be much different than his 3v1 against the Saiyan duo in Granola. It definitely helped that he was a lot more skilled than Infinite despite literally having a madness form, and somehow was a lot less prone to anger, giving Gas the edge he needed. Infinite was a tricky foe, but that's all he's got. Tricks. Gas just had the power, skill, and heater resilience to put the Jackal 6 feet under. Infinite went full steam ahead, but Gas put the brakes on this Jackal's force. The winner is Gas Heater.
I will cock my 9 and mother.